Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing tonight? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Hollywood After Dark for the 2nd of September, 2019. It's almost officially fall, right? We're coming into the final couple months of the year, which means that all of the hoity-toity Oscar bait films are going to be coming out. They're going to be coming out super quick. And I think the big one in everyone's mind, obviously, is the Joker. So many people out there are excited to see this movie. Some people already got to go see it early. My good friend Louis Lecca from Nuke the Fridge, who calls in a lot, who'll probably call in tonight, he saw the Joker. And now he's like the bee's knees. Everyone wants to be his friend. It's really funny. It's like, you got connections to see movies early? And he does. And he's earned it. That's why, for some reason, though, Rotten Tomatoes still won't touch the guy. Who knows? I think it's the alcoholism. No, I'm kidding. But today is Labor Day. If you are watching here in the United States, there are people that I know that tune in from all over the world. So usually holiday weekends here mean that there's like nothing. There's literally nothing in regards to good movie news. I thought tonight was just going to be nothing but a call-in show. Legitimately, I thought today was going to be nothing but a call-in show. I did my earlier video based on a scoop that one of you guys sent me. That was all about the, all about the, whatever it's called, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. potential spinoff at Disney Plus or Hulu. And, thought that was a cool subject worth covering, but that was really about it. Until about a half hour ago when I started looking around and I came across 3 stories worth covering. So I wanted to definitely jump in to covering those stories tonight on the show. So that's why I'm a few minutes late. I was getting all my assets together so I could do it flawlessly, because that's what I like to do. I like to create content for you guys flawlessly. So when you watch it, you think, man, there's some work that went into this. When in reality, I'm just really good at building up a slideshow. Anyway, first things first here, I want to talk about Netflix, specifically this new thing Netflix is trying, and that is potentially getting rid of binge culture. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, what? Huh? Who? What? Why? When? How? Why would they get rid of the binging? That's what put them on the map. Binging is what people really loved about Netflix right off the bat. They loved being able to get all the shows at once, all the episodes at once, without fear of a show being canceled mid-season. But here we are, 11 years, 12 years after the fact of Netflix kind of becoming this with their instant streaming service, and especially in 2013 with the creation of like House of Cards and Orange is the New Black and the slew of original content. That now binging culture is almost seemed as detrimental, and I'll talk about that. But the first show they're going to really try this with is not the one you would really assume. And that's as Netflix abandons binge model for week-to-week episodes on multiple shows. Now, this caught my eye at first because I thought, oh, damn, we're going to be finally getting rid of binge culture. I have argued that it's actually a detriment to people who are trying to watch these shows and get in on the conversation. And I will go further into that a little bit later in this. Now, it says here, the new season of the Great British Baking Show is the first program to get the updated weekly treatment. It has usually been released differently in the US and UK, allowing Netflix to release it all at once. However, this time around, Netflix really wants to keep the suspension of eliminations alive. And that's a key thing to consider. Netflix wants to keep all of this stuff alive. The suspense, right? They want to build on that momentum, build on the suspense. And the reason why, because it keeps people talking. If you're able to sit down and binge the Great British Baking Show in one go, which people have, then it's over when it's over, and your friend may not be there just yet. And then that becomes a bit of an awkward thing in regards to having the conversation. Now, it says if you go looking for the listing for the Great British Baking Show, you'll see just one episode available for Collection 7. There are future episodes shown, but none of them are going to be able to be watched. Instead, there is a release date for that single episode. Releasing each episode weekly allows viewers to keep up on the reality competition, just as they do shows on cable. And that was actually one of the reasons why Netflix did as well as it did, because no one would have to deal with that. Because who wants to wait, right? We are a self-gratification, instant gratification. We're very much self-gratification, but we're an instant gratification society, 100%. And as a result of that, I think it really ultimately harms us It's created this weird thing where we want to get everything at once, but it can become a bit of a detriment. Meaning, what if Netflix releases far too many shows right off the bat, right? What if they release this month alone, September 2019, they're releasing 41 original movies and TV shows this month. They just dropped 10 hours of The Dark Crystal the other day. So that's 10 hours. I'm like on a holiday weekend. I haven't had any time this weekend to sit down and watch any of that yet. And I'm already kind of a little bit anxious about what's going to be coming up next. Am I going to have time to watch it? And that becomes a bit of a problem. Now, the Great British Baking Show isn't the only reality competition series dropping the binge for Netflix. The streaming service released a first look at Rhythm and Flow last week, a rap series featuring T.I., Cardi B, and Chance the Rapper. And that will be released in groups each and every week. So on October 9th, the first 4 episodes of the series will be released, and those will make up the audition portion of the series. 1 week later, on October 16th, episodes 5 through 7 will be released, and then the series wraps up on October 23rd when they release episodes 8 through 10. And that is interesting in and of itself because that creates 3 separate drops, 3 separate experiences, and 3 separate water cooler moments. And that is a big thing to consider when it comes to Netflix. It really, really, really is. Because this is an opinion piece I found on Market Watch that I think really kind of talks about the problem with Netflix right now, saying its content strategy isn't working. So expect even more drops in stock. Now, Netflix has a higher stock than Disney, and it was shown as like a really solid bet for a long time, but they are taking some hits. But here's what they say. They say huge new content spending is not adding enough subscribers. And that's actually something really worth looking into, because when you have Netflix, which is canceling shows usually after season 3, a lot of it has to do with the fact that the shows become expensive and they're not really pulling in new subscribers. It's one of the reasons why I think they canceled the OA, because when they canceled the OA, it had a lot to do with the 2-year gap in between seasons. And the creators of that show have talked about having a 5-season trajectory. A 5-season arc for a show that's going to take, what, 10 years? That's not in Netflix's purview to keep that around. So instead of fixing the problem by curating better content, they're literally throwing $13 billion on it last year, 2018. This year is $15 billion. Now it says with 85% of that spending earmarked for its originals, for that much money, it should be more than just on track to have originals be the majority of viewing in every category. The company acknowledged in the most recent quarter that its original content hasn't driven enough growth. From the second quarter's investor letter, we think Q2's content slate drove less growth in paid net ads than we anticipated. And that's a thing. But they also like to argue that when they drop kind of establishment content, right? When they drop content that's from like NBC, Disney, Sony, Universal, whatever, they notice that there's a rise in watching of a Netflix original content. Yeah, that makes sense. When people go looking for something that's there and it's not there, they might find something else that suits their interest. Anyway, rather than acknowledge the limitations of the strategy, however, Netflix appears determined to throw more money at the problem. Netflix hasn't given a specific content budget for 2019, but it exceeds content costs to continue growing at a similar trajectory, which would put the company on pace to spend $17 billion. I was wrong. I said $15 billion. $17.5 billion is what it's estimated to be spending on Netflix this year. That's insane. $17.5 billion, and they're looking to lose approximately 15% of customers here in the United States, North America, when Disney Plus drops, because Disney Plus is going to undercut them on the cost, and they've got the money to do it. But when I talk about why Netflix should potentially end binge culture, I kind of go to this. Stranger Things. I adore Stranger Things. I love Stranger Things. I've got both seasons of Blu-ray of this, and I'll be buying the 3rd season when it comes out too, because I love it this much. But there's a problem. Stranger Things season 3 dropped July 4th, came out midnight on the 4th. Very kind of weird day to do it, but I understand it. All 8 episodes dropped, and it was a very good, concise, condensed season as compared to the season before it, which ran a little bit long in the tooth. Episode 7, I'm talking to you. But people binged it. They binged the show. They got it done. And then it was done over with. People weren't talking about it because for one, it wasn't new. And 2, all the diehards already watched it. So there's really nothing there to continue talking about. There's nothing there to continue really discussing. Yeah, there's a cliffhanger at the end, and I still need to do more of a deeper dive video on that. But that's what I'm talking about here, is the culture of binging is actually destroying the culture of longevity. Yeah, people watch these shows, which ultimately is what matters. But if it's not driving subscriptions, never mind Netflix's increased cost over the last couple of years and its looming loss of subscribers, that's a problem. So at the end of the day, Netflix really does need to sort itself out. And I've talked about this before in regards to them reaching out to influencers, right? Them working with more people, them getting early review codes out to people who have audiences who can watch and discuss. And then, yes, release week by week. So then, look, what I'm referring to here mostly, and you may not agree with me, and that's fine. What I'm talking about is like a symbiotic relationship, because someone like me who's got an audience, so you're watching me right now. If I'm watching, let's say, Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance, and it's week to week, I can get hype week to week and cover it week to week and talk to you on a smaller, more bite-sized scale week to week versus asking you, hey, did you invest 10 hours of your life this weekend to watch the show? I did, and I want to talk about it, but maybe you didn't get a chance to do that yet. So then it feels like it ostracizes you from the conversation. Or you kind of want to add it to your back catalog of things to watch. But if Netflix is dropping so much content, and never mind just that, like there's so many other outlets, you might find yourself getting lost in the shuffle of shows you want to keep up with. And this is a constant problem. If they were able to scale it back, then maybe I could talk about it week by week. We could get excited together week for week, and then we could go on that journey together as fans of this content, rather than just kind of splooge it all out at once and then be done with it. And that's my biggest argument when it comes to Netflix, is that is where I find themselves at this point, having pushed out so much stuff that they've almost isolated themselves and their fan base. Because when you go to Netflix and you go, oh, I don't know what I want to watch, and you start thumbing through trying to find something, and you spend 20, 30 minutes just coasting through the menu. And then at the end of the day, you end up not watching anything you want to watch, but you go and you watch like The Office or something because it's comfortable, it's cozy, it's familiar, and you don't have to think about it. Netflix is doing themselves a disservice by, instead of curating more quality content, by just dumping a lot of it every single month and kind of hoping something sticks and becomes the next Stranger Things. I think what made Stranger Things a phenomenon, similar to what made Game of Thrones a phenomenon, is kind of in a very odd place right now. And just dumping money on the problem isn't going to fix it. But by maybe creating suspense, creating a little bit of a wait, and they've done this kind of where they did like the first half of Kimmy Schmidt, the first like 6 episodes, and then like the last 6 episodes. And that's a bit of a problem because they dumped the first 6, and then it's like 6 months later is the last 6, rather than if you just would have done week to week, it would have already been over in half that time. Because I watched the first half of Kimmy Schmidt season 4, and I'm still working on the last half because there wasn't a rush to finish it. And then again, no one I know was talking about it, so I had no one to talk about it with. Pop culture, pop entertainment requires that. Exponentially requires that. And Netflix is losing that fight time and time again. And I really do hope that they fix it. All right, let me get a drink. Unlike John Campea, I will move away from the microphone, because the last thing I want you to do is hear me slurping water. That shit's nasty. Birds of Prey. This is a fun one, isn't it? This is a movie, I don't know about you, but I'm really excited for. The Ukrainian teaser trailer dropped the other day, and I did a breakdown of it, albeit pretty horribly, because at the end I thought that there was a bear, but it turns out it was hyenas, and I'm a moron and forgot about that. So trust me, the comments have been reminding me, and that's okay. That's why they exist, to point out when I make mistakes. So what we're hearing about today, potentially, is that there's a bit of an upset with this particular film. And I think the fact that the movie comes out in February or whenever early next year, and there's not even like that teaser trailer hasn't launched yet live, and there hasn't been any real talk about it in a while, shows me that there's trouble in paradise. And if you want to believe this article here on Cosmic Book News, because you're pretty much like the only ones talking about it. But anyway, they say here, Birds of Prey undergoing massive reshoots to remove pedophilia story. Written by Matt McGloin. to remove a pedophile story in Birds of Prey. Now, when I first read that, my thought was, huh? Like where, huh? Where is there any of this kind of content? And I haven't heard any of that yet. And of course, this is what it says here. It says, it's being said that Birds of Prey is currently undergoing massive reshoots, with the situation being compared to Star Wars Rogue One. Star Wars Rogue One overshot and couldn't cobble together a proper enough narrative. So they went back with Tony Gilroy, and he basically did a bunch of reshoots, which reshot a lot of the movie, and they cut it into what it is, which is arguably the best of the Disney Wars. I think people would agree. Now, regarding Birds of Prey, earlier it was reported that the storyline involved a flamboyantly gay Black Mask trying to capture and murder the teenage Cassandra Cain, played by actress Ella J. Basco, who swallowed his dick pics inside of a diamond. So the plot involves Cassandra Cain on the run as Black Mask wants his dick pics back, with Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, Mary Elizabeth Winstead's Huntress, and Journey Smollett-Bell's Black Canary trying to help and save her. Now, I know Grace Randolph talked about that with there being this, that's the plot, is that like Black Mask wants his lewds back. And I get that. Still trying to figure out specifically precisely where the pedo accusations come from, or where the pedo storyline is, because I'm not really seeing that. If she swallowed a diamond with his microfilm, he's got pictures of his wing on the microfilm, then that she's not actually like, I mean, come on, right? Like, come on, that's that's like defamatory if you think about it. But anyway, the reason why I bring that up is because I looked back at the original article, and it's from Matt McGloin as well, and almost very similar picture used and headline, right? And this is from almost 2 months ago. Margot Robbie Birds of Prey has pedophilia elements. But then look at this little line here at the bottom. While not specifically featuring pedophilia that we know of, the rumor claims that the young girl in the movie swallows dick pics of the film's villain. As a side note, I would just like to say to anyone out there who reads comic book news as like serious, hard-hitting journalism, I'm cherry-picking specific arguments that I'm talking about. This is what should destroy most credibility. Just to be fair. It says Margot Robbie movie has pedo elements, and then down here, well, it's not specifically featuring it. I mean, there's got to be a line, right? There's got to be that line. But anyway, the original article goes on to say, the good news is now that it's being said that Birds of Prey is undergoing massive reshoots to remove that weird pedo. What about it is pedo? I am legitimately curious. What about that particular story? Nothing. What? Anyway, in addition to claims it ripped off Deadpool. Okay, I don't know those claims. There's no explanation, so to speak. Interestingly enough, it's been reported that Chad Stahelski, who did the stunts for Deadpool 2, is overseeing the reshoots. But previously, it was just thought that for the action sequences, as his stunt company has been involved with the movie from the start. Okay, well, if he's overseeing the reshoots, kind of like Tony Gilroy, I think he'll be able to add a lot to it. The action in the John Wick movies are incredible. The action in Deadpool 2 was really good. And, these guys are stunt guys, so they know it really, really well. So it says, if the information is legit, it sounds like Stahelski is involved in reshooting and adding more than just action scenes, and that Warner Brothers isn't happy with director Cathy Yan. Well, here's the thing with that, is I talked about this the other day when I said, listen, someone like Cathy Yan, who is known for doing like lower budget independent drama films, coming over to do this kind of movie is going to run into a damn problem. She's always going to run into a damn problem. And I know that people out there are going to go, what about David Sandberg, horror director doing superhero? Sam Raimi, horror director doing superhero. And there's other examples, James Gunn, horror director doing superhero, and how it worked out. And I get that. But those are horror directors, which work on spectacle, but I can build a story around spectacle. Drama is about the interpersonal communications. It's the interpersonal actions between the people. That's ultimately what it boils down to. And so when you have a situation where a drama director is coming in to do this kind of movie, and there's meant to be action because these are comic book films, the two may not work out well. Kind of like Mark Webb and Amazing Spider-Man films. He directed the interpersonal scenes, and someone else, I think it was a VFX guy, ended up doing everything else. So there's that. Look, Birds of Prey, I just want it to be good. If Chad Stileski can add a lot to it in regards to stunt work and action work, by all means, bring it on. That weird storyline of Black Mask wanting his boner pics back, fine. That's fine with me. Is it pedo? Not at all. Calling it that is ridiculous. It's somewhat defamatory, and it's absolutely misleading, as evidenced by what I just freaking showed you. You know, Robert Downey Jr. is the kind of guy that I think everyone really wants to be like. You know, I look up to him immensely. I have for years. I have before Iron Man. This is a dude who I remember watching on Ally McBeal in the late 90s and being really pissed off when they wrote his character off because, you know, he did some stupid stuff, but he found his way back. He got himself back, and he got himself in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And as a result of that, he is kind of like the father of it. I mean, in regards to character, I would argue that Jon Favreau is probably more so, and Kevin Feige, obviously, but he is like, you know, he's like the sole father of it, really. And as a result of Endgame now being the #1 movie in the world of all time, there's one last thing that Downey Jr. has to accomplish. And that, of course, is be getting the Oscar for Best Actor. And I think that's exactly what's going to be happening. Now, in an interview here with Jon Favreau from back in, I think it was June, he says that Downey Jr. has his nomination for Best Actor. Now, that makes a lot of sense because Favreau and him go back a long way. They booted the MCU together. They've been friends for a long time. And obviously, he's definitely got the bias there. But Favreau is an influential guy in Hollywood. And coming off of Black Panther's nominations from this year, all of those were completely, I don't know, those are more for politics than it was for anything else. I think Black Panther, while enjoyable, was nowhere near as grand as Infinity War on like all fronts. But that one got all the noms, didn't win anything big in regards to like the acting ability, but it took home statistical. I think, no, it took home like costumes, which it definitely earned. I will give it that one. But anyway, Favreau says here, he has my vote for sure. I think he was able to discover and explore dimensions of a character over the course of many, many, many films, which is a bit of its own category. But I have to say that if you look at, especially how it began and how it ended in his performances between the first one and Endgame, there was a really thoughtful arc to the character, both in his performance and how all the filmmakers contributed to that character. So Robert Downey Jr. in this particular regard, if he chooses to try to get nominated, if he puts his name in or Disney puts his name in, they run the whole campaign. This is a very succinct thing to say. This is, you know, coming from Favreau, who's one of his good friends. And you know, it's true. Where Downey Jr. was in Iron Man in 2008 to where he is in Endgame, there is an arc there. I mean, people still there and say, we love you 3000. And it's not that it was aimed necessarily at Morgan Stark. It's because of Tony. So there's a cultural impact there that I believe has really kind of added to his overall performance. Not saying that his performance is better as a result. He's definitely a great actor, but we view it better because we have that emotional connection over the span of 11 damn years. But it's not just them. It's not just Favreau who's making the claim. And this is months ago. This article popped up on We Got This Covered. And this is saying Avengers Endgame director says Robert Downey Jr. never says the same line twice. And this is an interesting quote because I want you guys to pay attention to the process here. It says Downey will never say the same line twice. He's got this really unique process where he has an earwig in and he has an assistant who's been working with him for years. And what we'll do is like a Sunday before we shoot his scenes for the week, we'll get in a room with him and the writers and pitch out alternative lines because he wants to keep it alive every take. So then he'll do a take scripted, and then his assistant will feed him the alts, and he'll do the scene again with the alts. His assistant will feed him the next round, and we'll see the scene again with another round of alts. And what's great is after 4 takes, we can look at everything he's done and pick and choose and rebuild it. And then he'll do it one more time with everything that seemed to work the best. That's a very different process than, let's say, Scarlett's process. But it's exciting to work with that range of talent. Now, when they make a claim like that, when they're out there saying that kind of thing, what they're doing ultimately is trying to lay the groundwork in the trades to the academy. I think it's like 6,000, 9,000. There's a lot of people that can vote. That he puts in the work to be Tony Stark. That this is his process, that he's more method. I mean, this isn't really method, but it's definitely methodical. He has a system that he does in order to get the best takes. He wants it to be the best he can be. He practices it, practices alts of it, doesn't waste people's time on set trying to figure it out, does it beforehand, is a consummate professional, and he clearly cares about what he does. This is something that could really, really, really push him towards getting that best actor nomination. And here's the thing. He's been nominated twice before. He has. He's been nominated twice before. We got him here with Tropic Thunder 2008, where he was up for Best Supporting Actor for Kirk Lazarus. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. You know a dude who don't know what dude he is. Love that. Love that. I screwed that line up, but that's a great thing. And then, of course, 1993's Chaplin, where he was up for Best Actor. In both cases, he lost. In the case of Tropic Thunder, he lost specifically because of Heath Ledger. He lost specifically because of Heath Ledger, and that makes sense. I get that. I get why the Academy gave the Best Actor or Best Supporting Actor award to Heath Ledger for the Joker. But I do feel that Kirk Lazarus, it was such a good performance. And so if he's up for Best Actor, if they nominate him, it's going to be for these two roles, as well as everything else he's done. This is going to be like a lifetime achievement sort of thing, versus I think actually like tying it into his performance strictly for Endgame, which I do feel he really nailed it at the end. If you want my honest opinion, the best performance he gave in that movie was when he wasn't saying anything at all. You know, at the end of that movie, when he's done the snap, he's done it all, he's killed Thanos, and everyone is like, you know, Peter and Pepper are saying their goodbyes. And he's just got that look on his face. He's not saying anything, but everything he's conveying through his eyes. And there's a lot of CG work done on his face to make the scarring look good, but everything's there through his eyes, his performance. And at the end of the day, I think that is better than anything we've really seen in the MCU so far. And I can't speak to the rest of the year. I haven't seen every single movie that's come out, but if he gets the nomination, I would bet on him to actually win for a couple different reasons. One, Disney's got the marketing bucks to make it work. Two, the Oscars are on ABC, so that's owned by Disney, so there's that. And I think people would be willing to do it. I think people would be really willing to give it to him because, you know, he's, in my mind, he's earned it. He's earned it. Okay. Now that that's done, he will lose to the Joker twice. Ooh, that was good. Okay. Let me take a look. Let me talk to you guys here. So how'd you guys like that? Did it work okay? I didn't even see how it really worked out on my end. I can't see my monitors right here, so I can't see how I looked. So I don't know. All right. Let me get some damn water. It's warm. Press 1 if you guys think that Downey's got a shot. 2 if you don't think he has a shot. You think Joaquin's gonna nail it? I think he's pretty good. He's pretty good. Odd, I have not seen Dark Crystal, man. I have not had time this weekend. I have not had time. Yesterday, I ended up going out and like doing a family thing. I was like, take my daughters to like the mall to get pictures taken. I was like, yeah, terrible. I don't like the mall. Not one bit. Okay, let me see here. So I'm assuming some of you guys probably want to call in, right? The Discord. Anyone in the Discord right away? Okay. All right. Nope. Cool beans. Let's see. Do I think Rotten Tomatoes is corrupt? Kareem, I think Rotten Tomatoes is not corrupt, but it's clearly not trustworthy in my mind. It's just, that's the way I see it. I don't view it as being trustworthy. Okay, let me bring up. Okay, so if you guys want to call in, you guys can head over to that is the number, and also the Discord is currently up. I figure we'll be on for about maybe another hour. I got to go to bed a little early tonight. I got some stuff to do tomorrow. So we'll try to keep it about another hour of things going on. Hey, 619, you're on the air, man. How's it going? Today it's okay. There wasn't a lot going on until like literally the last, like as I said, it's like the last like 30 minutes. Oops. Like the last like 30 minutes before I went live. I was like, oh, I should probably put these stories together. Yeah. But other than that, that's not too much going on here. What's going on with you? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. For those of you guys who don't know, he lives in San Diego, so he's finally checking out San Diego. Oh, hold on a second. Apparently we can't. Oh, hold on. Apparently we can't hear you. There we go.
Oh, hey, what's
Okay,
up?
sorry about that, guys.
It's
Sorry about
Arian.
that. Sorry about that. It was it's OBS and their settings get a little bit crazy sometimes.
Okay, that's cool, dude.
So I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Oh yeah, there was one thing I wanted to talk about. A friend of mine actually told me about this like an hour or two ago. Like, and it has to do with with the Joker movie. It's about this. Well, I wouldn't call it a controversy, but more of like a well, I guess you could call it a point of controversy, like something that will probably get people talking about it. Like I saw an article. I saw the article today from or the CBR talking about a scene in the movie. Now I'm not, but it's not really a spoiler, so don't worry about that. It's not like a spoiler thing. It's more like, do you know that scene in the trailers and in the poster where you see like Joker just like going down the stairs, they just doing
Yeah.
like dances and stuff like that? Yeah, well, like during that scene, they have like a song playing, and like I'm not sure. Are you familiar with the song? I think it's called "Rock and Roll Part 2" by Gary Glitter.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't know, it's like an old song. I think it's from the '80s. So, yeah, it was from the '80s, and it was mostly used by like sports areas. So like to like say like a soccer guy got like a goal, they always play that song. But the reason why it's getting so much controversy over the song is because if you didn't know about Gary Glitter, he got charged for downloading child pornography and for having and no, that was 1999. Then in 2005 or
Oh wow.
2006 or in 2006, he was found having like sexual relations with like an underage kid in Vietnam, and then in 2015, turns out he had more sexual like abuse where like yes he was diddling kids. So it was this whole big thing with this dude. So now like the fact that they're using one of his songs in the movie, like there's it wasn't really like a controversy point with any critics, but
Yeah.
just like a thing point out saying like, hey, could this be weird? Because I know most sports arenas stop playing that song for that sole fact about what this guy did. But but seeing as like how they're gonna play it here, and to me it makes sense. Is like Joker's a crazy fucking guy, and so
Yeah.
we're gonna have a song by a crazy fucking guy. But I could see where the uncomfortableness may came from. But I wanted to ask you, is it okay to like just have like 6 songs or show anything from like an artist who has done bad things, like separate
Well,
art from the artist?
I mean, like okay, like the actor Charles S. Dutton.
Name familiar,
You know what?
but
Fuck it.
remind
Fuck
me
it.
again.
Okay. Okay. Matthew Broderick, right?
Yes.
Okay. Matthew Broderick killed 2 people back in the late
What?
'80s. It was an accident. It was a car accident, but he killed 2 women.
Oh my god, I didn't
Right?
know this.
Yeah. No, it's there. It's people don't talk about it much, but it's out there. Right. So he's killed people. You know, he killed 2 people, and we still enjoy Matthew Broderick. So there's one angle of looking at it like that. Now that was a one-time offense, right?
Hmm.
One-time offense. What you're describing here is multiple offenses over a long period of time, showing
Yeah.
no growth at all as a person. That's a tough one. That's way more nuanced. I don't know. I think like I like to separate the art from the artist. You know, I don't know if you could in that situation though. I mean, it's all like it was multiple times. You know, it's not like
Yeah.
a "whoops, I did it one time, my bad" sort of thing, which is not even you can't even really summarize it like that either.
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, people are trying to like cancel Michael Jackson based upon the Finding Neverland, or not Finding Neverland, whatever that documentary was on HBO.
Oh fuck! I don't know. They need something Neverland. Yeah.
And so there's that. I mean, but even that's one of those things where it's like, there's enough circumstantial evidence to support like the other side of that as well. And it all depends on who you talk to and how you present the facts. So
Hmm.
it's like how you present the information. So, it's one of those things. If this is like downloading stuff and then actively going and engaging in those acts in another country where the likelihood of being caught is lower, you
Yeah.
didn't grow as a person. You didn't recognize you made mistakes. You're a son of a bitch. And I don't think I could.
Very much.
I don't think I could support that. I mean, like, I'm not going to think about it when I see them. Now I might think about it when I see the movie.
No, man, I ruined it.
No, you didn't ruin it. But if I were them, I would potentially look at the idea of maybe, maybe looking into changing the song. But at the same time, I mean, it's their art. That's how they want to convey it. It's there's not you're not going to please everybody in the conversation. People are going to come at it and they're going to be like, if you silence it, if you remove it, it's going to be giving into outrage culture. Some people are going to say that. And
Hmm.
then other people are going to say, well, no, look at what he did. It's right to get rid of it. But then is it like, are you censoring yourself? It's really up to Todd Phillips and the music director for the movie if they want to get rid of it. It's not going to prohibit me from seeing the movie. But it's definitely something that's it's I would argue it's a bit of a blemish. But then it all boils down to this: did they know what they were doing? Did they know it? I don't know, man. It's such a tough
Yeah,
conversation.
that is weird, but I'm seeing it from the point like saying I'm pretty sure they do know. They do know what that Gary Glitter asshole did. But I'm thinking the reason why they picked it is I have two reasons. One, that song, like whenever you hear it, like it actually is a good song, but like of course it's kind of blemished now. But the song is it's supposed to like since like I said like a bunch of sports teams start using it like when someone gets a goal or like gets a score on something. It's supposed to
Yeah,
be like kind of like a victory song, like a moment of victory. And so within the context of that scene where he's like dancing down the stairs, it's supposed to be like a moment where like a bunch of people were saying that was like the best scene in the movie, like the most pivotal scene, like where he finally like lets go and becomes the Joker. That like that moment. So it's almost like a victory, like a victory for him, like his crazy victory.
okay.
And second, relating to that first point, this is by an actual fucking criminal asshole, right? It kind of adds to sinister, like that sinister type, because the movie is, because they sit throughout like everywhere. The Joker movie is going to be disturbing. It is going to be divisive amongst people. Some people are not going to like it because they're going to do a lot of shit in there that people are just going to be like, oh fuck, like it's going to be one of those movies. So like the fact that they're at, so I don't think it was like unintentional for them to add this song in there. Like I feel like they probably did it just to add to like that disturb factor, like saying like, oh, if you watch that scene without any context, like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, it's just a Joker dancing down. But once you know the backstory behind that song as well, and what it can symbolize here is like, oh, that just got like added layers upon layers about this whole creep factor and all this shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's such a weird conversation because it is going to boil down to the person specifically, the individual person. It might also be a way for. I mean, look, I kind of feel like Warner Brothers is courting negative controversy with this movie in order to really boost its profile for free. I mean, if they can create controversy and controversy that can be very decisive or sorry, divisive, that
Yeah.
can actually really help them in the long run. Like if they're trying to argue that the Joker is like, it's an incel movie in the making. Like I don't know if you saw my video on Peter Scretta from Slash Film from the other day.
Oh, and I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, like, he's not the only one making those comments. And I'm all like, well then, like my whole thing to him was explain what you mean. oh, I can't explain it. It's going to be a spoiler. Then keep your fucking mouth shut until you can talk about it. Because otherwise, you're sitting there saying like, this could be dangerous in the wrong person's hands. Now, granted, in Odessa, Texas, as we were discussing, him and I are going back and forth, a dude who had just been fired hours earlier went postal and was on his way to a movie theater, ended up going to the movie theater. And I was telling Peter, I'm like, don't make these comments because people are already scared enough to go into the theater. Yeah. So it's like, and then of course I say that, and then someone's like, how do you feel like an asshole now, don't you? I'm like, no, I don't feel like an asshole because like, I didn't know this was happening for one. Two, a movie theater is like a great target anyway, because it's like a lot of people are, condensed together. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it's no, like this, you can't sit there and blame everything on this. But that of course is where we're going to see things go next. And I wouldn't be surprised if people try using Odessa as like an example or something along those lines.
Yeah, no, I feel it's just going to start like the whole, people aren't going to really blame like themselves, like people are just going to blame like the movie or blame anything else that they can't, like, because they can look bad, like, like either like the parent or like the environment, this person, whoever, like the supposed, like, or whoever could, like, go out in these shootings. People don't tend to look at like, okay, how were they raised? What's their environment? What's been influencing them, like actual influences? But no, we gotta blame this movie, like, oh, it's gonna be like an incel. First of all, an incel, I don't think these people know what an incel is. Those are just guys who can't get sex and fucking hate women for it. Like, I'm not sure what they're on about. Also very racist. But, it's like stuff like that. Like, people are just like taking these terms because they sound like, oh, like, buzzwords. Yeah. Like, ooh, this. But it's like, you guys are just doing this for, it's like I said, and I don't blame them. They're doing it for the clicks. And I understand that, but you kind of look like a fucking dumbass. I'll be real with you. Look like an asshole, honestly. But hey, if that's how they want to do it, that's how they do it.
No, that's fine, man. Hey, man, but I'm gonna let you go because we've been on about 12 minutes now, and I got someone who's been like nonstop calling trying to get in.
I feel you, man.
But yeah, no, thanks for calling in, dude, and glad. Yeah, it's a good convo. I mean, I think the closer we get to the movie coming out, the more we're gonna see some think pieces on this, and I'm not very much looking forward to it. So
me neither, man. But hey, we'll get through it.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later. Have yourself a good one.
Hey, you too, man.
Bye. Okay, 909, you're on the air. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? You've definitely tried calling a lot.
I wasn't sure how this thing works. I thought there was like a line or something.
It's kind of like however it works. It's there's no real like call waiting. Well, there's call waiting on Skype, but it's not the best system on the planet, to be honest with you.
My apologies. Now it look weird.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
So, all right, I have a couple questions / statements, but I'll keep it quick.
Okay.
So I came upon your videos because I would put my video up driving home from work, on YouTube or whatever, and just watch comic book commentary, stuff like that, and movies. And then your videos came up. What came to me drawn towards your videos was I remember Aquaman had just come out, and you had a lot of good things to say about it because I've always liked DC. I've always liked BBS and Man of Steel, and people give me shit for it all the time. But
yeah, I catch crap all the time. Movies. All the time. I catch a lot of crap. Yeah.
People are like, no, it sucks. Like, you know what, man? You tell them watch the extended. No, I don't want to watch another 20 minutes of a movie I hate. I'm like, all right, man, whatever. But yeah, what was cool is I've heard you say, I'll cut the chase. I've heard you say like DCEU is dead, for example, right?
No, I'm actually one of the ones arguing for it to stay alive.
Stay alive. Okay.
Yeah. There are people out there that are like, the DCEU is dead. And I'm like, fuck you. Like, Warner's is making a huge mistake if they try to cancel the DCEU. Like, it's a huge mistake, in my opinion.
They've gotten huge wins because you had Aquaman, who was in both BVS and Justice League, and they even
Well, if you want to,
even,
if you want to call a 10-second, like not even a 10-second cameo being in the movie, but okay, I get your point.
that's fair. That's fair. No, that's fair. You're right. That's fair. You also have what else? Yeah, you also have him in Justice League. Obviously, he had a bigger role, making over $1 billion, and then Shazam being tied to essentially BVS because you see a lot of Superman, and Batman, and then the kid playing with the toys in Shazam. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think this would be, I would want to say, DC's time to strike, because MCU, correct me if I'm wrong, is in a vulnerable, slightly vulnerable state because they're not leading up to Infinity War and Endgame. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, you're saying that the DCEU is in a vulnerable state because there's
No,
no.
MCU.
Oh, well, I mean, people have, there are people out there that have argued MCU Phase 4 is, it's woke, right? It's all SJWs, all it is. None of that's really, like remotely close to being accurate. But the thing with it, okay, imagine it like this, dude. You're coming off of Endgame, right? The culmination, like, I mean, really, you can look at like, you can look at like Far From Home, I think, as the epilogue to Phase 3, right? Not, it's not the final chapter, it's the epilogue. But really the final chapter, the closeout, is Endgame, especially for Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans and everything else. So it's like, it's how do you top that? Right. The thing is, you don't top it. You don't even try to top it. You make no attempt in the world to top it. You sit back and you just make low stakes content for 2 years.
Right.
Now you lay the breadcrumbs for what you want to do next. You lay the breadcrumbs for who's going to come in and how it's going to play out and leading into something. But it's got to play out kind of like, like the Fellowship of the Ring, 3 hours of, well, all they're really doing is fucking walking.
Right.
It's interesting, but it's like, okay. And that's where they're at right now. So it's like the Black Widow movie, I think the Black Widow movie is going to do well enough to where they're going to like do 2 sequels, like it takes place after Civil War. And then it's going to kick in. Like, I think they're going to probably tie it into the beginning of like Infinity War or something. If that's how I would do it, but I think they're going to do that one. And that's going to come later on. The Eternals is like the start of the Celestial stuff. And I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of feel like it's a bit of a reach I don't care about. And maybe that's the point. It's such a far left field thing that to some diehard fans that they're going to be really excited to see it. Like, oh, I love Jack Kirby's The Eternals. This is going to be awesome. Celestials and all that shit. But it seems kind of low stakes. And then you've got like, Doctor Strange 2, which is going to be probably what's going to start setting up through the multiverse what comes next. So that's not till 2021. So we get a full year and a half of just kind of low key stuff, not really having a lot of a general impact on the MCU where it stands.
As far as like I'm sorry, that.
No, go ahead. Sorry. There's a phone call that came in too. I had to mute it real quick.
As far as the wokeness part of it, what do you think of? I know it's not for another 2 years. Do you think that Love and Thunder will be a woke movie?
No,
I mean, I don't see it.
No.
Them trying to hide it. You don't think so?
What about it is? I mean, look. Here's the thing: is the Mighty Thor storyline pretty bad? Yeah, it's not the best thing in the world. I thought it was kind of lame when it came out. Like, female Thor? Ooh, it's Jane Foster. Oh, because she's got
story,
cancer.
I heard that story tanked. I didn't buy the comic.
Well, it didn't.
Read it.
The thing is though. See, this is where I think there's and I know I covered it on like the main channel a long time ago. But this now, now we have the gift of hindsight, which showed us that while they ended the Mighty Thor, they then took the character and put her into, was it War of the Valkyries or something? There's another line. And so she stopped being Thor and gave the hammer back to Thor. And so then he became Thor Odinson and got his powers back. And then she ultimately becomes a Valkyrie later on.
Okay.
And there's like this, or War of the Realms is what it was. I did a video on it. It's actually on the channel. I think it's, I forget what it's called, but you type in like Thor 4 or whatever. You'll find it. And I talk about like the war, like the realms and stuff, and how they took her character through that. And so ultimately, that's really what it is. Is setting up. I think it's setting up more things with Asgard and that sort of thing. I don't view it. I think calling it woke is just it's like a buzzword. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's it's like the SJWs, right? Have kind of turned like everything into a buzzword. Incel is a buzzword. They're acting like it's a new thing. We've been hearing incel since 2014. Those of us who pay attention to the internet, at least. And so all it is just like people out there trying to argue that, oh, a female Thor movie, that's going to clearly be this woke attempt. It's like, it's really not. It's really not. I don't know if it's going to be good. I can't say if it's going to be good or not, but just even looking at the character and what they've done with it, you're like, oh, okay. They got to keep Thor interesting. They do. They have to keep Thor interesting. That's how these movies stay afloat. They have to kind of reinvent themselves. I mean, look at Thor, right? Kind of standard, straightforward
I love this version of Thor.
Yeah, no, me too. But like, look at the first
Thor.
movie. Fat Thor was great. Fat Thor was hysterical, and Chris Hemsworth fought for that. He fought to keep Fat Thor.
Yeah,
and what it was is they had the first Thor, 2011, more of a Shakespearean drama, right? A lot of Dutch angles for some fucking reason, but whatever. And then you had the next one, The Dark World, which is more of like a kind of Game of Thrones medieval action sort of thing. And so then that was a big thing. And then 4 years later we got Thor Ragnarok, where they said, well, let's just go balls out. Like, screw it. Like, if this is the last Thor movie, let's go crazy. And they allowed it to be funny and really play up the talents of Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson and Bruce, and everything else. And it worked out really, really, really well. So if you liked Thor Ragnarok, which not all of you did, and that's fine. I did. The more I watched Thor Ragnarok, the more I liked it. The first time I saw it, I wasn't super impressed, to be honest with you. I think my review, I even was like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But the more I watched it, the more I like it. And then I loved the fact that Infinity War was more Thor's story. And that was culminated in Endgame. And so where he goes next is going to be very fascinating. What he goes through is going to be very fascinating. And I think Taika Waititi has proved himself at least enough for the benefit of the fucking doubt. So, I mean, I think if you like this version of Thor, you'll like the next Thor movie.
Yeah, I mean, I did like. So what I liked about Thor as well was, I like how they integrated Odin, and how he was saying, your power doesn't come from the hammer. It's to focus it and channel it. Not the god of thunder, not the god of hammers. That I really liked. What else?
So how are they going to tie in? How the hell is he going to lose his power to Jane? That's what I want to know.
I heard them saying. So you think he's going to lose it? It's going to go to Jane, and then it'll go back to Thor.
Well, yeah,
not the female Thor.
Well, yeah, why it ended up going to her in the comics. I'm not kidding. Nick Fury just goes up to Thor and whispers in his ear, "No man is worthy," right? Or no God is worthy, or something. And like somehow it broke Thor's confidence. That's really what it was. It broke his confidence. We've already seen him broken. We've already seen him without confidence. I don't know what they're going to be able to. I don't know. I don't want them going back that way. Like, I'm excited to see what Taika Waititi does. Clearly, he pitched
like a Shazam where he shares the power.
I am maybe. I mean, I don't know, but it's like we've already explored the vulnerable side of Thor, in like with PTSD and lacking of confidence, and then he found it again at the end. I don't know what they're going to do with it just yet, but it's Kevin Feige was. I think out of everything Phase 4 related, Thor: Love and Thunder was what really got him going. He said the pitch that Taika gave them was insane. Like, I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but he was very hyped for it.
In all honesty, with the MCU, I'm kind of like, I don't know, Blade. Like, to me, Wesley Snipes is always Blade. I
think he'll be the new Whistler.
I don't care about this. I'm old school. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine, dude. It's fine.
Like they asked him on Twitter.
I like.
Hey, what do you think? What do you think about who should be Blade? Should this person be Blade? He just put, "Nah, fam. There's one Blade." I'm like, that's right, brother.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Wesley Snipes as Blade. I have since 1998. But
Mhm.
Mahershala Ali is fucking beast when it comes to acting. I love that dude. So
Not saying that he's a bad actor. He's great as Cottonmouth.
he
He's
was
great in
great
a
as
lot of
Cottonmouth.
roles.
Yeah. Once he died, dude, that whole season went to shit. Like, I don't know why
Yeah.
everyone's like, Luke Cage was great. Nah, post Cottonmouth's death, it just went to shit. Season 2 amped it up, though. I will say season 2 was great. But yeah, I don't know. I think, because he campaigned for Blade. He campaigned to be Blade. And I want to see what he's going to do with it. I think it's going to be very fun. I'm hoping it's a Disney Plus show and not a movie. That's still kind of up in the air. I've heard both at this point, potentially both.
Well, if it's a show, if it's a Disney show, is he going to be able to like
You think
brutally
it's,
decapitate vampires?
do you
And
think he's
stuff
going to
like
do that
that
in a
on
Disney movie?
show?
Is he do that in a Disney movie? No, it's just, I mean, a Disney show would at least
That's
have a
true.
better shot because look at Marvel Television with the Netflix shows. Those are pretty damn violent,
That's true.
right?
Which
And
Kevin
it's like,
Feige hates anyway.
yeah, fucking Jesus. I
Yeah,
mean, all I'm saying is
MCU,
it's gonna be
I'm
under
kind
Fox.
I'm kind of like on the fence about MCU. I'm kind of like tired of it. I got fatigue after Endgame. I was like, all right, I need like a year break off of this movie.
Well,
Off of
and
these
that's
people.
why, and that's why it's so low stakes, right? That why do you think they're doing Black Widow next? Because it's low key. Hold on though. Wait. Roman numerals in the chat said like just about Mahershala Ali is just pushing Muslim forced agenda. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Seriously? Like he's a good actor. Let him be an actor. His faith has nothing to do with it.
I don't care about the guy's faith. It's more, I just think there's one blade. It's very cut and dry. I don't care about what the person does in his own home. You know what I mean? It's like leave the guy alone.
Yeah, Mokuba here says Disney doesn't want any R-rated movies. No, but Fox. That's why they bought Fox. One of the reasons why. So they're going to be doing. The thing is, Disney likes money. I mean, look, you know, if you want to see someone who's a hardcore Disney fan lose it on Disney, go find the Grace Randolph video where she talks about James Gunn getting reinstated to the MCU, right? Getting his job back. She was like, well, this just proves that Disney is not the Disney I grew up with. It's all corporate.
Yep.
So, I mean, and that's the thing is I think everyone kind of knew that, you know, it's like people forget that Disney owned Miramax back in the day.
Yep.
So they've done all that shit. But hey, man, I'm going to let you go because it's been about 15 minutes. I tried to keep it around that length. But thanks for calling in, and we'll talk again soon. All right.
Thank you for taking my call, man.
Yeah, man. Have yourself a great one.
You too.
All right. I saw that there was a 646 number that called in a couple times. If he wants to call back, that's open. Danny, I did see the trailer for the Tall Girl or whatever it's called. I don't know what they're like. Okay. It's like, are you tall and ostracized by people in high school? Welcome to the fucking club. Doesn't matter if you're tall, short, thin, fat, acne-ridden, or a whore. Hey, 347, you're on the air. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. I was actually calling because I wanted to hear your thoughts on an idea for the Disney streaming service. Do you think the audience would actually appreciate the ability to actually co-watch movies on that service with people? Like, you could actually get a bunch of people who have the service and actually sync it all up so all of you could just sit in a chat together and watch movies or shows at the same time. So, like, when they put on their big shows and things like that, I want to know, why do you think Netflix or anyone else hasn't done anything like that?
Well, Netflix did kind of on the Xbox 360. They had the Xbox Watch Party, and you could sync up with your friends, and you could watch the same movie. Join like an Xbox Live chat. So I think up to 4 people, and sync up the movie and watch it. There's a Google Chrome extension right now called Watch Party, where you can do the same thing, and hook it up. And that's actually one of the things I want to do on here eventually is like set up like watch parties for like patrons or something, because I'm clearly a whore. So. But no, the thing is like having the ability to watch with your friends across country, is it's necessary in my opinion. I mean, one of the reasons why, we got 56 people in here watching right now, which is fantastic. Thank you guys so much. But that's 56 people that are watching, a dude who looks like pre-heart attack Kevin Smith, talking about movies.
Damn.
right? It's just like I said, pre-heart attack. So when he was fat, and so like, but that's what it is. It's a shared experience. It's a shared. People like shared experiences, and I think having that
Yeah.
option is something that should really be looked at if they wanna keep people watching together. Because if my friends, I got friends all over the country, and if we could sit there and like sync up our Netflix and like hang out on our couch and watch it, that'd be great. I would do that a lot. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was asking because me and a few people were in a Discord a while ago, and we were just like, yeah, it'd be great for like Halloween to actually watch a bunch of horror movies together because we have like over 14,000 people in the damn chat, and we were just like, yeah, great if we could get a bunch of them just to watch a horror movie at the same time. What options do we have? And
Yeah.
as we went
Well,
through the options, we were just like, wow, all of these suck.
well, there are people out there, and I'm not endorsing this behavior, but there are people out there who use Rabbit.
Mm.
I think it's
It changed to KCast.
is it rabbit.com? Is it I forget what it is. There's one of them
It
where
it changed to KCast.
okay, so you know what I'm talking about, where you can just like, sync up YouTube videos. Right? So
Uh,
everyone gets a link and it syncs it up.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. The only problem was that when I was checking out how it works, it didn't work as well for people who didn't have roughly the same network bandwidth. Whoever the heck had the lowest bandwidth, that the software would kind of lean towards them to try to keep it all level, but it would slow everyone else down.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So,
That's the problem
yeah.
with high speed internet.
Oh yeah. So me and a few people who do a lot of programming, we were trying to figure out a way to do this. But the only way we could even think of, well, we were just like, crap, movie studios would really not like that. It would essentially be downloading an encrypted version of the movie onto the person's hard drive. Like, you guys set up a time and it'll download over the course of the day, and then it'll just hit play on all of them at the same time, and then once you're done, it'll delete it. But just the idea of a movie being copied over would make movie studios lose their heads.
Well, I mean, and again, people like to, you can always find people who are going to make, is SyncTube still around? Or is that gone now?
I have no idea what SyncTube is, so it's probably gone.
Well, think like Rabbit, right? It was original. That was the original synced up. What I loved was 4chan used to have like a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week stream of nothing but To Catch a Predator. It was nothing but To Catch a Predator. And you could go in there any time of day and there'd be like 50, 60 people in there just hanging out, watching To Catch a Predator nonstop. And, realistic, I don't quite know. Yeah, I don't quite know what that ultimately means for everything. But yeah, it was interesting to watch ultimately. And it was just wild, in my opinion, to like check it out and laugh. Because it was good. It was good shit. It was good shit back in the day. So,
because after we started figuring out how to even begin trying to build something like that, we were just like, crap, are we sure something doesn't exist that already does this? But we don't want to spend the next 3 months building this, and then someone goes like, oh yeah, this does that, but better.
Yeah. Well, you're always going to have that. Technology always does that. So it's one of those things where it's better to do it and then update it to be better than it is to just kind of talk about it and go, maybe, but like people always come to me and they go, oh, can you talk about this certain thing? And then in my mind, they go, yeah, but like so many other people have talked about this certain thing. Am I going to be able to add anything new to this discussion? Like, that's something that I think about all the time. And then it's like, there's times I just don't talk about something because I'm like, I don't know if there's anything I can add to it. And then later on I'm like, oh, but there is something I wanted, and now it's too fucking late. So you've got to carpe diem. You got to seize the carp, So
Okay.
I think you should just get out there and do it, and then let me know, because I'll check it out, because I think that's something that'd be a lot of fun to do with this crew of people, is to hang out and just all watch something.
Oh yeah, because that's what we thought it would be great to do. So we end up doing it, and it actually becomes a business. I'll make sure to give you first chance to buy stock in it.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate that. Hey, I'm going to let you go. So I got some other people calling in.
You have a good night.
You too, man. Thank you very much. All right, because I got about another half hour I'm going to be on here, so try to get through these as fast as we can. I do appreciate everyone calling in. Thank you very much. If I saw that there was what was it? There was another one. I saw 646 called in again, and then there was another one. So whoever calls in first is going to get it. Okay. Hey, 646, you're on the air.
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, man. How you doing tonight? Doing pretty good?
I'm good. I have a quick question. I wanted to know what you thought about how they're going to incorporate Deadpool. And I don't mean in terms of the rating of PG-13 and rated R, but I mean the storyline, considering that they've already introduced the X-Men and Juggernaut.
I think they're going to incorporate it, and they're just not going to really talk about it. Like, I think they're just going to do it, and then maybe make one passing fourth wall breaking reference, and then just kind of move on with their day. Or they're going to go completely all out, and the end of the movie is going to be him in this MCU. You know, is there a Deadpool villain that can go in between dimensions? Could technically Cable's time travel? If time travel goes back and just creates alternate timelines instead of you can't alter the past sort of thing, or alter your past specifically, is that how it's going to play out? I'm sure they've already been thinking about this, which is why there hasn't been an announcement. But I think they're also worried that if they fuck up the announcement, that they're going to find themselves in a situation where, a lot of people just are not going to be happy. They run the risk of not doing it right and then losing Deadpool to the audience and losing Ryan Reynolds. And I think that would be a blow Disney doesn't want. People like really love Ryan Reynolds in that role.
Yeah, so you think they're just going to continue the storyline and make jokes about it and not really truly reference it?
Probably. It just seems like look, we don't know yet. We don't know what they plan to do to integrate X-Men and Fantastic Four and Deadpool into the MCU. We know it's going to happen. We just don't know how they're going to do it yet. And to be fair, I don't even think they know how they're going to do it, because they know that they're dealing with 20 years of characters, 20 years of films. That does, maybe with the exception of Dark Phoenix, has a pretty decent loyalty. You know, there's people out there that really, really love the Fox X-Men films. And if they don't handle it right, like there's so New Mutants, for example, which is meant to be, kind of a horror driven spinoff, apparently, according to some reports, has cut out all references to the X-Men in order to maybe be more MCU friendly when they finally release it next year sometime.
Yeah, I heard about that too, that they cut off all the references to the X-Men in the movie.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how they're going to solve it. I don't know what their plan is yet. The thing is, I think that's what I'm most anxious to find out more about. Like, I want to find out more about Deadpool. Because X-Men, I know they're going to reboot it. Fantastic Four, they're going to reboot it. But Deadpool is established in recent movies. 3.5 years now, people have been watching those two films, and they love them, and they have a very dedicated fan base. And I think if you fuck with that in the wrong way, people are going to respond. And so, they're going to need to work with Ryan Reynolds and Paul Wernick and Rhett Reese, I think, to really kind of craft a solid entry point. But the problem with it is, though, is that we're going to get like one of those movies before they completely homogenize them, I think. Like, eventually Deadpool is going to be PG-13 homogenized, just like the rest of the MCU. Or they're going to move it away from singular films and just put them in an ensemble.
Say that last part again. They're gonna put them in an ensemble.
Yeah. So kind of like how X-Force was going to be the Deadpool 3 effectively. They were working on X-Force. They were actually going to start shooting it last fall. And then everything, kind of happened. They realized that Deadpool worked one movie as a standalone, but it was really the strength of the supporting cast. And then they really ramped it up with, Domino and Cable, as well as, Colossus and what was her name? The teenage warhead lady. The
Oh,
catatonic. Negasonic. There we go. I don't know why I forgot that, but they brought that up, so they had a large ensemble cast for Deadpool 2 and it worked well enough. But I think the big problem with Deadpool 2 was that it was trying a bit too hard. It didn't have the lightheartedness that the original had. And that's something that I think that they're going to try to capitalize on. I just don't know what's going to happen with that.
Yeah. I think they're gonna reboot, and I'm okay with them rebooting the X-Men. But I'm really interested in how they're gonna handle Deadpool. And of course, they've got the break in the fourth wall to fall back on. But I'm really interested in what they do. And and I thought about, like, this may be too much, and they're probably not going to do it. But with the Doctor Strange movie, if he's jumping through dimensions, they can have a quick cameo of Deadpool and somehow jump off of that. But maybe I'm asking for too much.
No, that might actually be how they do it. Is because they mentioned the multiverse in Far From Home. That I think I called it right away. I'm like, that's a lie. Because if you know anything about Mysterio, you know what he is. So I'm like, that's a lie. But they played it up, I think, as a bit of a thing in the marketing to get people talking about X-Men. But apparently Kevin Feige has said, no, the multiverse absolutely exists. Like, okay, well, if the multiverse absolutely exists, then let's let's make it work. Let's make it work. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. But hey, man, I'm gonna let you go and try to keep this a little shorter so I can get out of here on time tonight.
All right, no problem, man. Have a good one. Thank you.
You too. Thanks for calling in. Definitely calling again.
All right, man. Later.
All right. There was a couple people that had called in during that, so I'm trying to keep these like about 5-6 minutes. We'll get through them. Let me just post the number in the chat. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, let me look here. Cable snaps his fingers. That changes everything. Yeah. I saw Safety talk about the whole Zoe Quinn thing. Yeah, I haven't, I have my thoughts and my feelings on Zoe Quinn and what happened. I've read through a lot of the stuff that the other side is presented, like the case against the guy, the Night of the Woods people, but I was reading this last night for a while. None of it makes it any better. None of it makes it any greater. What you have is a situation where a guy is dead because he lost everything, and he had always feared that if he was going to lose this, that would be the reason would be to drive him to suicide, and he did it. He predicted his own death a couple of years ago. But we're hearing from people that there was that he had issues. His own sister said he had issues. I don't know. I think there's a reason why people choose the timing they do to release those kind of statements. I don't know if she had an ulterior motive. What I know about Zoe Quinn is I know she likes to play the victim, and I know she likes to use it to her advantage. And this might be the one time where it absolutely blew up in her face, because now there's someone who's dead, and that person should not be dead. Whether or not they're good or bad, we don't know, but they needed help, and clearly they thought they couldn't get it, and clearly they took a bad path. But I pity him, really. I wish he would have gotten the help he needed, and I have a lot of issues with Zoe Quinn as a person. She lied about me a couple times in her book, and not that anyone read it. So that's fine. But no, she's just a terrible human being. Absolutely god awful human being. And people support her, people protect her, people, she is gaslit enough people. She is Stockholm syndrome enough people to where they don't want to mess with her. And I think it's because of the clout she at least pretends to have. So that's my knowledge on that one. Anyway. All right. Depression is a motherfucker. It 100% is. And the thing is, you can't see it. You can't see someone if they're depressed. You can't see someone. You can't, you can't tell if someone is depressed by just looking at them. You have no idea what they're feeling. No idea. what they're going through. And the problem with the online culture is that it enables bullies. I think bullies is a good term. People, and the thing is, people who are bullying, I don't know if they always know they're doing it because it's one person. It's like death by a thousand cuts. I think is the better way to describe it. Because kicking someone when they're down, which is oftentimes what happens in cancel culture, kicking someone when they're down, you don't think you're adding to their stress, or you don't care. But I think people don't think that they're doing anything. It's like, oh, what's my one comment? Yeah, your one comment against the sea of a couple thousand. That shit will compound, especially if it's people in your industry, your peers that are doing it, not random people on the internet. So I think we need to all take account of that shit. You know, it's fun to fire off a snarky tweet. Like, I fucking got him. But at the end of the day, you don't know how it impacts them. You've no fucking idea how it impacts them. You know, like I've gotten emails from people over stories that I've covered, and they've asked me to take down the videos because it's directly impacted their life. You know, someone told me that they were getting death threats off the video that I'd put up. Now, I have no way of knowing that's true or not, but I've gotten death threats over shit that I've said. Right? I had one mailed to my home 3 months ago. Not even kidding you. I had a death threat mailed to my home. So I get that. So we have to be more careful. You know, people do get worked up over shit. And a lot of the time, they don't have all the information. And when they don't have all the information and they think that they do because there's an authority figure out there acting with authority that tells them they have all the information without actually having all the information, it creates a lot of bad shit. And that is unfortunately where we find ourselves. So, you know, there's all that. Anyway, the line is open. Post that one more time. Let's see. Is anyone in the Discord? Okay, I do see a couple people in the Discord. We'll give one more second on the phone. If not, I will close that out for the evening and just go over to Discord calls. Let's see here. So, well, the thing is, Vsauc, it's not that Zoe's attractiveness level is kind of inconsequential, right? There's a lot of people who, and this is just my interpretation. A lot of people who do game dev, I don't think they fuck. I don't think they fuck very often. From my understanding about Alec and Zoe, like he didn't. From who I talked to, who knows him, who knew him, who had caught some wind of this back in the day, there was, like she kind of played him a bit, and people like her do that. You know, she's the kind of woman that meets the insecure guy that doesn't really get a lot of sex. She tickles it a little bit, and then she leads him around by his heart on. So she's done with him. So, let's see here. Muhammad here says, when do I feel like this Sony Spider will come? When do I feel like this Sony and Disney thing will come to a deal? It's going to happen. Sony made $5 million. I meant to cover this. I was going to cover this. I ended up again. I'll do it tomorrow or something like that. Sony, made $5 million off of, Far From Home this last weekend, but they dumped that movie in IMAX with like 7 minutes of extra footage. And it was all shit you saw in the trailer. The first trailer of Spider-Man Far From Home is effectively what you saw that was extra added into this film. It was him getting his passport, him getting his luggage, him taking down that crime family. That was about it. Not really worth the price of admission alone, and people didn't go see it. I think I saw Comic Book Cast tonight say something like there was a tracking for like $2.5 million. And it did $5 million. I didn't see like anyone talk about how much it earned, but then again, I wasn't paying that close attention today. Let me see. Deadline would probably have an article on that one. Let me see here. Just Deadline, talk about it. Let's find out. Nope. They didn't talk about it. Not in the last 2 days, at least. Well, Kareem, I tried, if no one else calls in, we could keep it short. I don't mind another call back. That's fine. Or we can save it for tomorrow. That's fine too. But I want to kind of be out of here in about the next 10 minutes or so. So I think, I got a couple people in the Discord. I'll just pull them in. Oh. What's up, Lewis?
Hey, dude, I saw that no one was calling. I don't want you to stop your show. I need you to go on for 4 hours.
Yeah, I'm not going to go on for 4 hours. That's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna do it. I want to go to bed at some point. I have children.
I'm a
I have to
little late
watch in the
today.
morning.
I was eating some Del Taco, and then I went to Taco Bell. Tried that out. I was listening to your show here on
Why
Three
would
Buck
you go to
Theater.
Del Taco and then go to Taco Bell?
Okay, so Taco Bell, Del Taco. I don't know if you guys have them. Do you have them in your state?
We just got a Del Taco here, but then again, this is kind of a movie podcast, so
No,
tying
no,
into
but see, I
movies.
watch movies while eating Del Taco. There's a link. But I like the Baja Blast at Taco Bell. So,
You
anyways,
can just go buy Baja Blast in a can for like a lot cheaper than what you'd pay over at Taco Bell.
you can? Wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing, bro.
for a vegan, I thought you'd want to eat a little bit healthier than drinking Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
Well, yeah, you know what, though? There's a lot of real bad stuff that's vegan, so it doesn't matter. I'm a fat vegan, but whatever. Hey, did you ever hear the thing about Tom Holland actually doing a cameo for Spider-Man, for Venom, and then
There
Disney pulling it?
was something I saw with that.
Weird, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that they would have. It seems that they would have done something with that. You know, they would have done something in regards to that damn movie. You know, they would have had some reference. But then again, Amy Pascal was running around saying like, "Oh, they're in the same universe. They're in the same universe." You know, and then Feige's like, "Shut up, shut the fuck up. You're crazy."
Yeah, but the
bitch."
movie had nothing to do. The movie seemed like it was totally separate, so
Yeah,
it
well,
wouldn't
yeah.
even make sense.
Because he came from New York, right? He came from New York to Frisco. So I'm wondering if in that particular exchange, if him going to New York, or him coming from New York to Frisco, there would have been like some reference to like the Daily Bugle or something. But then again, as we've learned, the Daily Bugle exists, just not in the format we thought.
Yeah, there's gonna have to be someone assigned or a division of Disney and all those big studios assigned just to answer like questions of what's fake and what's not. I wish they'd do that because someone could just make up that news about the cameo. I mean, it kind of sounds like it's weird, like it doesn't make sense. But if it's fascinating if they did actually do that, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I understand why studios don't address the stuff. They don't want to give the rumors credit. But then when rumors end up becoming as crazy as they are in a lot of cases, they sometimes feel like they have no choice but to respond. But then again, Disney still has not put out an official statement in regards to Sony and Spider-Man.
Yeah,
It's been almost 2 weeks, and there's been over 2 weeks, and there's been, or almost whatever, but there's been no reference. There's been no statement outside of Kevin Feige on that Entertainment Weekly thing. That was it. There's been nothing.
but I mean,
So,
their silence is probably their statement. They're probably negotiating.
I mean, I would say that their silence is a negotiation tactic, is what it is.
Hey, Matt, I also want to ask you real quick. What's your opinion on all this like Joker stuff? Like people just going nuts, almost like it's the internet and Twitter's turned into Gotham City. People can't, prejudging a movie before even watching it. It's so weird.
Well, people prejudge things before they see them all the time. This is the internet. But what it seems
but
like
it's
is that they're
ridiculous,
trying
man.
we always I mean, it's not as ridiculous as you might think. What it really is, unfortunately, is what feels to be, at least in my opinion, it feels like these like these, like you sent me that tweet from that one lady saying like, don't read a Joker review unless it's from a woman or a woman of color, like don't do it. It's not good for you. You want a proper Joker? Read our review. It's by a woman of color who's also in a wheelchair and scissors on the weekends. Her name is Betsy. Like that's what it feels like. Is this like, let's check every box, and say like, oh, this is the one review you need to see, You really don't. But people are, they're just gonna like look for anything they can to like talk shit. Like that the woman who wrote that tweet, she didn't go see the movie. I think that's what it boils down to. I think she's just like, but what about me, you guys? Like, I don't get it. Although she doesn't sound like she probably
be
sounds
fun, man. Joaquin Phoenix is, his quote, just have fun with it. I gotta ask him.
Yeah.
I asked him there. I'm not showing off, but I gotta talk to him.
Well,
no,
yeah.
I'm showing off.
Humble brag a little bit.
A
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I asked him. So, what's the age difference between Bruce and the Joker? I asked Todd Phillips that, and he goes, "Oh, well, I'm not gonna say it here because I don't want to spoil it for people." But Joaquin Phoenix said, because obviously that question was loaded because I want to see the Joker fight a Batman. You know what I mean? But they're like, just have fun with it. If Batman's in there or not, or who's in there, don't think of it too much.
Well, we don't know who's in there, so we
don't know who's in there. But
yeah, you clearly know
because
who's
everyone's speculating since
telling
this movie's set in the 80s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And since we don't know where Robert Pattinson's going to come in, he could be today. And if you got if Joaquin Phoenix Joker looks like
he's not.
30,
No, he's going to be coming in it's like the 90s. So.
Oh wait, you think Pattinson's a 90s Batman?
Yeah, or early 2000s. Yeah, they've already said that.
This is weird. Well, okay, so then
I'm getting you to crack.
Well, so would this be like a 50-year-old Joker versus a 25-year-old Batman, or what?
Well, I mean, if they were going to go down that path, that'd make the most sense. Yeah.
If they keep building on it, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, man. Hey, look, I just want to say, everyone press like. I only see 10 likes there. I don't know if anyone's super chatted yet. Go ahead, super chat. Matt, as you can see, Matt needs some power drinks. Look them up. Everything helps.
I've got them in I got energy drinks in my fridge, sir. I come prepared. This is also a Wendy's. No, it's. The thing is, actually, if you guys want to, if you guys are enjoying, here's the thing. If you guys, we seem to get a bit of a growing number. If you guys are enjoying it, let me know. Hit one. Let me know that it's good to come back every night and do this. I have a lot of fun, but I want to know that you guys are having fun, because this is all about me talking to you. Sorry, man. Hey, I'm gonna let you go because I'm gonna start winding this thing down. Talk to the chat for a few minutes, and then go to bed. Roman, yes, Lewis does get a time limit. So there's
Talk to you later, guys.
I'll see you later. Bye. All right. And okay, Skype is down for the night, so no more phone calls coming in there. So yeah, I mean, I've been thinking a lot about this show and how I want to do things, and it's a build. I want to build it because it's a lot of fun to do. So yeah, let's see. Is there anything in the chat? We can talk to the chat. Have I caught the Chappelle special yet? I have not. I have not caught the Chappelle special yet. That's on my list of things to do. Del Taco the movie. Dark Crystal will be my sleep. Yeah. Let's see. All right. That was Collider's Jay Washington. Oh, okay. So Geek here is saying that there was no Venom cameo. That is okay. What's my favorite movie cinematography? I don't really like, the one that always comes to my mind is, if anything, the trailer is The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. The trailer for that has some amazing cinematography. Cocaine is always good. Like cocaine. I mean, I've never done cocaine. But the concept of it sounds like a lot of fun. I smelled cocaine once. I didn't inhale, but I smelled it because my friend found it and he was all like, "Hey, you want to know what cocaine smells like?" And I'm all like, "Why do you have cocaine?" He's like, "I found it." I'm like, "Okay, sure, man." He's like, "No," he's like, "I drink. I don't do drugs, but I found it." I'm like, "Where'd you find it?" He's like, "The floor of a strip club." I'm like, "Oh, right. I forgot you manage a strip club." So Thundercats is getting a movie. No, I haven't heard that yet. Let's see. Thoughts on Black Adam. I'm curious to see how they're going to pull that one off. I do have a feeling that the Rock is going to be going to the MCU before they get Black Adam off the ground, if I'm being fair. Is the Monopoly movie happening? Which Monopoly movie? There was like 2 Monopoly films. One of them was like based on the game, and then one of them was based on the woman who made the game, and then how she got ripped off because she did. She did. No, I didn't. I didn't like. That was the thing. He goes like, "Don't inhale." He's like, sniff it, but like, he's like, smell it, but don't inhale it. I'm like, I don't understand how that works. He's like, if you inhale it, you will know you inhaled it. So I'm like, all right. So I forget what it smells like. I couldn't tell you, but I've smelled it. There we go. I don't do any other drugs, but except for pot occasionally. And yeah, so there's that one. Anyway. Do I think Sony can pull off a He-Man? I don't know if Noah Centino can pull off He-Man. I don't get the whole thing. You know, like, is he going to get like super ripped, or is he going to look like, you know, freaking Edward from Twilight? Hi guys, it's me, Prince Adam. I have the power of Grayskull. It's like, hi guys, it's me, He-Man. By the power of Grayskull, I wield this power sword. She-Ra, come here while we fuck. That's my lame interpretation. Steroids, yeah, pretty much. Slender Grill, yeah, good old Slender Grill. For those of you who don't know, I used to do these Slender Grill streams where I would just like sit outside and like smoke my pop pen and get really fucking hammered and like just like talk to you guys. I'd be like, whatever. But then I saw this, I was at my old apartment complex and I was outside smoking, and there was this grill. Like I was in a gazebo sort of thing, and there was a grill there, and it caught my attention. I went like, you know, I was like, oh my God, it's a grill. And then people were like, oh, Slender Grill. And that became a meme because I was exceptionally inebriated. Who would win, Superman or Hulk? I don't know. Probably Superman, because he can fly. He would just be all like, oh, really? You can smash? How about you smash an asteroid, you green fuck? Throws him out. Then it's just Hulk in space. So I think anyone who can fly can beat up the Hulk. I think if the Hulk, like, you know, got his hands on some kryptonite, he'd fuck him up. Yeah, Superman because he's so OP and no fun. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the character of Superman, but like I think storytelling with him is such a difficult thing to do on a non-comic book level. I mean, Superman 64 was the last Superman video game, not counting Injustice. Not counting Injustice. People underestimate the Hulk. I mean, he did punch down the Chitauri big thing. Just knocked it down in one hit. I'm pretty sure he could get a hit on Superman, but I'm just saying, all Superman has to do is wedgie his ass to space. Hulk is strong. Hulk still can't defy the laws of gravity or zero G. So there's that. That's my story. That's my thing. That's what I'm doing. That's what's going on here. What the hell am I hearing? Sounds like it's like something weird outside. It's insane. Craziness. All right, guys. I am going to go to bed. It's 12:30 a.m. here. I appreciate everyone calling in. I appreciate everyone watching. You guys are fantastic. I'll be back on tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Remember, hey, if you guys want me to go earlier in the night, I'm going to pimp this real quick. If you guys want me to go earlier in the night, patreon.com/Matt Jarbo. Let's get me up to 1,000 a month on there. And I can go earlier. That's the pitch. Hellyweed. Yeah, dude. I could do that afterward, Rome. I could sit there and do Hollywood After Dark a little earlier, and then afterward, Hollyweed After Dark, where I just get really fucking wasted and I talk to everybody about movies. That would be a series in and of itself. But YouTube would highly demonetize it. Like this video will be demonetized because I swear a lot and I say the word cock. So there's that. Anyway, again, thank you guys so much. Shifty Gizm, I'm so sorry you got here this late, man. You can always go back and watch the replay. That will be up. If you are a subscriber, it's going to be on the front page. I unlist these when it's over, and so then I put it in the playlist for Hollywood After Dark, so you guys can check it out then if you missed it. If not, if you want to see the news bits, those will be up in the morning as well. And as always, the Discord is where if you want to talk to me more directly, I'll probably be in there for a little bit. Actually, I'll probably be in there for a little bit right now because I have to do some quick editing. So maybe like 20, 30 minutes I'll be in there. So anyway, I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a fantastic day. Peace.